You know, it's funny. I came into this program, today's program, prepared to, just kind of expound upon certain thoughts about the Russell Wilson signing, what the impact is on Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, and just share some additional opinions, stuff that I didn't feel I was able to get into yesterday's show. And that's not going to happen because this past 24 hours, a bunch of things kept changing and I kept hearing different things. So what I'm going to do instead today is it's a little different. It's going to be just stuff I've heard, and then you can take it wherever it is that you want. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates, the same place that you found this. I'm in Ottawa to cover hockey, and I had a couple of flights to get here because that's the only way to get here. I don't have a whole lot of nonstops to Canada's capital for some reason, so I had a lot of time on my hands, and I did my requisite thinking about hockey. But the beautiful thing about airplanes now is that most of them are fitted with Wi-Fi, so there was a lot of communication happening via text. Most of it was, and this is always wonderful for a reporter, people just sending me stuff. Like, I don't even have to reach out to them. You have to kind of be in the business for a while for that to occur, but it's really cool when it does. Not going to lie. And on the stop in between, which is at Washington's Dulles Airport, I had a chance to have not one, but two good phone conversations. So take all of that, roll it up into a ball. You're not going to know what came from, but here's what I've come away with, and all of this has to do with the quarterback situation. The first thing I found out, it wasn't the first thing I pursued, but the first thing I found out was that, at least according to the Steelers, there is going to be a competition. They will insist on this. They will not hide from it. They will speak it right in front of Wilson's face if there's a press conference. They're not going to put him forward as the starter. There's a way that you can show respect for somebody who's a 9-time Pro Bowl participant, who's a Super Bowl champion. And there's a way to say, hey, listen, this is where the situation is right now. We've said all along that we believe in a competition. We're going to stand by that. So again, keeping today's show opinion free, you can take what it is that you want from that. Second, and this is the stuff that really threw me off. In reaching out to Rudolph's camp, I came away convinced that no door has been shut related to the Steelers. And here's why. Omar Khan has, as I reported previously, recognized and accepted and actually even encouraged Mason to go ahead and check out whatever else is out there. That's a common practice that goes back deep into Kevin Colbert's tenure. It's just something the Steelers believe in. Within that, the Rudolph camp has not ruled out anything related to the Steelers either. Doesn't mean they're coming back. Doesn't mean it's automatic. Doesn't mean it's a slam dunk. Doesn't mean anything really other than that neither side has slammed the phone down on the other. Next, and this one's not mine at all. This one came out from NBC Sports late last night. There are already several NFL teams that are aligned and interested in bringing in Rudolph as their primary backup. That was the wording that was used. Again, this report here that I'm describing was not mine. This was on NBC Sports. So taking 2 and 2 and putting them together, exercising a little bit of license here, if the Steelers and Rudolph have a door open, and the Steelers and Rudolph have, in theory, a starter's job available because of a competition, then it's at least conceivable, I guess, that they would be offering a position that's more attractive and that pays better than another team might for a stated or declared primary backup position. You see what I'm saying with that? In other words, if he's going someplace that just paints him right off the bat as the primary backup, that's it. You're just here to back up. Just shut up and stand over there. He might actually see more of an opening in Pittsburgh to start. I'm not advocating anything. I'm not even doing that on this entire episode. Okay. I'm just throwing out there what's possible based on the stuff that I've heard over the last 24 hours. I didn't even remotely expect to be talking about anything like this. I really threw the Rudolph stuff out of my head after yesterday's episode. Now, the obvious question within everything that I'm discussing here is, what about Kenny Pickett? Kenny Pickett's a first-round pick, recent first-round pick, got some pedigree to him, got some spectacular character components to him, competitor. I know not a thing, not one thing. I can't even cite for you a third-party report about anything. I don't know the Kenny camp, as we tend to call it in this business when you're referring to agents or family or whoever as well. I've dealt with someone from the Kenny camp, but not in recent months. So I don't have any information from that perspective. But I got to tell you, and this is based on precedent again, not on opinion, Kenny's not going to be somebody who takes this Russell Wilson news well, at all. Now, he's also not in a great position to go complaining about it or whatever else. He probably saw how well that played the last time he came close to doing it after Rudolph and the offense got going. But yeah, I got nothing for you over there. And if I can break my word a little bit here and just end this segment with one opinion, and that is that it's impossible for me to accept that Wilson would have signed with the Steelers without some sort of firm assurance that not necessarily you're going to be the starter, but look, man, you're going to be the starter. Okay. Either wink, wink, nod, nod, or something, because he did have 2 other visits scheduled after Pittsburgh. And it's not like the Steelers offered more money. They're paying him an NFL vet minimum. So there had to be something in there. Either he believed that Mason and Kenny are both so awful that he could just do whatever he wants and be the starter, or they found a way of telling him. Until I see or hear or gather something that's different, I believe that Russell Wilson is going to be the starter for the Steelers in 2024. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar. Exciting news from Live Casino Pittsburgh's Poker Room. Join them this month for the Westmoreland 300 Multi-Flight Poker Tournament, March 7th through the 10th, with a $25,000 guaranteed prize pool, plus accrue hours every day until March 23rd, and come for an $8,000 cash drawing on March 24th, beginning at noon until 8 p.m. Also, during March, all 2-5 or higher Texas Hold'em players will receive a $40 food comp after playing for 1 hour. Any new players who mention DK Sports, that's us, at the poker podium upon your first visit to the poker room will receive a food comp after playing for 2 hours. More action, more winnings, only at Live Casino Pittsburgh's Poker Room. Follow Live Pittsburgh's Poker Room on X at Live Poker WML for promotion and tournament news.
Welcome back. Time for J1Q, and today's comes from Goose, and it's so good that it's going to go without a response to what he offers. And this is it verbatim. This is DK. While I can see why the Steelers would look at acquiring Russell Wilson at the minimum, it can be low risk in a vacuum. My question is, what the hell will this team be looking at come the end of week 17. I think Wilson's going to wear out his welcome by the end of the season. And if he has a middling performance, he's going to want way more than the minimum to play the following season here. Kenny Pickett might not see the field next season. And if he does, he's going to need to pull a Mason Rudolph and show huge improvement in a limited time. They could have 0 viable options at the position come the end of the 2024 season. This all seems unusually and yet exceptionally short-sighted by the Steelers, as I would think the ceiling on Rudolph would have been potentially higher than Wilson's and at least has some possibility for seasons beyond. That's Goose's viewpoint. And again, I said I'm not going to have an opinion on that either. That's for him. What I wish, though, was that Goose had come up with my show yesterday. One thing everybody needs to understand about this program, and specifically about me, I'm a lifer. I'm born and raised. My passion isn't sports. My passion isn't Pittsburgh sports teams. My passion is the job. It's the journalism. It's the reporting. It's the being here in Ottawa to cover hockey. It's the stuff that goes into it. A lot of you got really, really freaked out, it seemed, about yesterday's show. And I don't have a clearer way to word this for you, but I really don't care, and I can't care. All I'm going to do when I do this show for you every single day is give you my best. And my best is always, always, always being honest with myself, first and foremost. I'm not here to be positive. I'm not here to be negative. I'm not here to build up anybody's hopes. I'm also not here to be a deliberate downer, to drag people down, or to come up with crazy, sizzling hot takes to make you mad. I couldn't care less about any of that stuff. If you want that, it's out there. Go find it. You won't have trouble. That stuff is literally everywhere. It's like a freaking virus. That's not going to be me. If I don't like a move, and I didn't like this one before it was made, so why would I have changed my mind on it 3 or 4 days later? I'm going to tell you that I don't like the move, and I'm not going to worry about the consequences, because the consequence for me would be that I'd be lying to myself and in turn lying to you. If you think adding Russell Wilson to the Steelers is something that's going to make them better and whatever else, you go nuts. You go right ahead and think that. I'm not going to say a word to you about it. That's your right. But you got to respect my right to feel as I do about a given situation regarding this football team or any of the 3 teams that I cover in this town. So one more time, if you want the Hopi, smiley stuff, whatever, there's places for that. If you want the I hate everything about the Steelers stuff and I'm going to trash them at every turn, there's places for that. I'm going to give you exactly what I think, regardless of direction and regardless of what anybody wants to hear. I appreciate the audience that's been built up here. I appreciate the fact that we had somewhere in the range of 50,000 people listen to yesterday's episode. That is a big, big audience. If that was local radio, that would be the #1 rated show. I'm really legitimately grateful and moved by that. But I'd like to think that the reason the show has gotten to that level is that I can just be clear with you. I can just be honest with you. I can be authentic. That said, I really loved the way Goose put it. So Goose is in charge now. Goose is taking over the program. I appreciate everybody being here. And we will have another one of these shows tomorrow morning. No change in approach, believe me.